good morning to everyone. Can I get everyone's attention? We're just gonna quickly start the program, and then we can, continue to buy some art. I'd like, I don't know, these COVID rules are a bit strange because in these things I would usually say, can we gather around? Now I don't know what to say. Like, stand where you are. But thank you once again for coming, guys. I think it's a super cool initiative here, the Newtown Pop-Up Gallery, and obviously props to the Department of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation. Bay up to Newtown Mall, obviously, for jumping in also with the space, and of course M Studios. We had a cool workshop yesterday.
So the pop-up art gallery, I think, is the idea we had when you realize that each artist has not been working for a very long time. There has not been anything that has been happening. So then we thought, no man, let's do something that can really be beneficial to artists because they have not been making any income for the longest of times, actually for a year. And then the idea came about when we were together with Osmic and the colleagues that we must do the pop-up art gallery, which is going to run for the whole month till end of October, till end of March, I'm sorry. And I think, and then we'll take it from there and see how it goes. But it looks like so far, from what I can see in charge, it's going to be a very successful art gallery moving forward. Maybe it might be something that we might have in the long term, but we shall see as time goes by. So with those few words, I would like to welcome you and officially open the program.
Of the exhibitors today. The painting behind us is one of my paintings, and those other two paintings behind that are black, back there representing Marikana, So I'm an artist that likes to paint social, not just social ills, but social education that I think we need to install in young people, and as artists, just in general as well. I've spent 8 years creating trade platforms for artists in general, from musicians to fashion designers to visual artists. And I just want to say, I want to thank the Gauteng Pop-Up Gallery for this exhibition, because I then took time in developing myself as an artist, I do have so many paintings, but I never took the initiative of actually now concentrating on just myself as an artist. And with the workshop that also came through yesterday, it was also just a reminder, just as an artist, that you need to always make sure you are prepared for the opportunity to come through. And with this opportunity here, we are really thankful and hoping that there's more people that will come through and educate themselves more about what the art industry is about, and that there's more to the art industry than what meets the eye. There are so many other things that happen behind the scenes, and there are so many companies that have gone down throughout the whole pandemic and COVID time, So I also would like to pledge our policyholders to also back us up in making sure that you also involve us when you are creating the policies that hold us as the artists in the industry. Because the times do evolve, and artists have got ideas on how we can actually develop and create more platforms for ourselves. We just need that backing, because I think the artists are prepared. There's so many brands that have developed throughout the years that I've been a practicing artist, and I think now preparation has definitely made the right opportunity. And Kuma artist as well, as Osmic said yesterday, and he gave us a lot of food for thought. As he said yesterday, that you need to make sure that you're the one that comes to this gallery and utilize it to the best of your ability as well. Don't just wait for the gallery to have exhibitions that you can again apply for. Come through and exhibit your own artwork, create your own brand, and let's succeed and not become artists that are just living on hand to mouth and not investing in ourselves. The studio that we went to yesterday, the M Studio, you can go there and get some financial assistance about how you can develop yourselves and develop your income as an artist as well, so that when COVID happens again, we're not stuck in not knowing how are we paying for our rent, how are we pushing our work, and how are we doing all those things. So let's all work together with the government, with the other big brands that are out there, and make sure that...
And in our preparations for the Gauteng pop-up gallery, I did never, not even a single day, imagine that we could be, as policymakers, in the same space with creators of visual arts, as captured in the 2005 Gauteng Creative Industries Framework, that there must come a time where mainstream will be brought to the people. And I think what we are witnessing today, more than anything else, is an expression of what policy is if it's done right in consultation with stakeholders. So it gives us a great pleasure as public servants to be able to share a space that artists themselves want. So we are in a mall, unfortunately. We are not in a dense, populated community where we would like to be. And we're in a mall because we're looking for traffic. And in this traffic, we're looking for customers. And in this customers is what we mean when we're looking for market access. So, how do we find expression of our work so that we can have balls on the artwork that we produce? There's different art spaces in the city of Johannesburg across the landscape of Gauteng province. Others, they go on art in the park on the Sundays, and they sell their works on the intersections, in parks, zoo lakes, Watasisulu botanical gardens, and everywhere else. And maybe it's about time, Titus, in what you are saying, that let's go also and take over the Vilakazi precinct as visual artists. Let's go and ensure that we look out for pop-up spaces where there is traffic, but what we're looking for is disposable cash. So we are living in tough times in this post-COVID-19. I'm sure you might have seen, most of you as you walked in, that everything else is closing down from a leisure point of view. So if it's retail, if it's hospitality, if it's restaurants, everyone is closing down. But like all pandemics, through the 19th century, the Spanish flu, it's only the arts that survive any pandemic. Because you create from your own space, because you sell from your own space, and therefore you do not need to be part of an ecosystem that, from an ideological perspective, is what we call a capitalist state. So we will always thrive, but we will always need each other as government, as creators, as policymakers, and more than anything else, as those who are working. We expect them to buy our artwork. My speech, I wanted to extrapolate a little more on what this Gauteng Creative Industry Framework is about, particularly on the visual arts, performing arts. But I would like to take our attention really on the artwork that's going to be on display here. And that let us mingle and talk to the artists, look at their creation, and to the media. We have MEC Mbali on standby. She is out in Wardville doing a recreation program. But we're saying to the MEC that because we are here for 3 weeks, for 3 months, we are here for 1 month. I was saying that we will still have enough time to reflect on this program, and we will have to come and see the space. But for the media, what we would like to say is, if you want to have a message from the MEC, you can facilitate that you speak to her from just a leadership and executive role position. But what we're looking for today is an interaction between our artists and yourself as the media. The stars of the show are here. Ours is to ensure that we create that environment and the space for you to interact with the artist. I think the previous speaker was very eloquent in relations to emphasizing what is good governance in the 21st century. And good governance is not government telling you what to do. but it is you telling government how we should be working together. So this is what the Sixth Administration is preaching, that do not sit in your office, in an aircon office, and you think you know what an artist is looking for. Plan and work jointly with the artist, and this is one of the many initiatives that will be rolling out. I think we are in the largest cultural infrastructure asset in this city, the Newtown precinct. And I was saying to my colleagues, we need to draw a parallel with the Market Theatre Foundation, because there's a Market Theatre lab where photography on the other side, from a visual art point of view, there's a space that we need to ensure that we align our work. But more than that, is that this is a rich space that was created for artists, by artists, to ensure that we express ourselves confidently.
I'm Lerato Lefafa, and I come from a background of communication. So I've been in communication for the last 11 years, and I've practiced in all industries, from government to entertainment to digital and in finance as well. So the reason as to why I'm talking about brand strategy today is because if you don't know who you are, if you don't know why you exist, if you don't know what you believe in, and if you don't know what you want to achieve as an artist, then you won't get buy-in from people. And yeah, to start my presentation, I'd like to ask 2 questions. The first being, who here wants to sell their art, like monetize their skill? You can show me by a show of hands. Right. And the second one, I'm going to use a practical example, right? Which is a bit left from the art topic, and that is, if you were tasked with launching a new car, like this super car, where would you start? Would you start with the exterior, like making it a sexy little thing on the road, or would you start with the interior, like the engine, the oil, all those mechanics that make it work? By a show of hands again, those who'd start with the interior, please show me. Right, so keep your hands up, I want to count. How many of you are here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I counted 16. Is it 16? Keep your hands up, please, those who said the start in the... So 7 out of 16, which is less than 50% of the attendance, said they'd start with the interior, right? So I'm guessing the rest of you would start with the exterior. Well, the minority is right in this case. Like I said before, if you don't know who you are, why you exist, what you believe in, and what you want to achieve, then your business will suffer because people wouldn't know what you're all about. Okay. And to drive that point, I actually have a video that I'd like to share with you guys.
Artist, toymaker, and clothing designer, Brian Cause Donnelly married classic graffiti tropes with cartoon iconography in a street art medley that reinvigorated modern art and opened up the gallery and museum worlds for an entire generation. This is his blueprint. So you grew up in Jersey City. Did you spend a lot of time going to museums in New York as a kid?
Wasn't really exposed a lot to museums or galleries, or it's not really like a gallery scene or anything in Jersey City. Not that it wasn't, you know, a fun city to grow up in as an artist. It was almost like a playground or a free-for-all. Under the Holland Tunnel, there's all these walls. And as a young kid learning graffiti, I could just go there and paint all day long, uninterrupted.
How old were you the first time that you snuck out to go bombing?
Elementary school, maybe 7th grade, 8th grade, you know, definitely before high school.
What was your exposure to graffiti, other than obviously
It
seeing
was
it
all
on the street?
around. The kids I skated with, you know, when I was skating, I would come into the city, and when you go to the city and skate, you meet like a lot of kids. You kind of create almost like little packs of kids. And, you know, of course, there's older kids, and there was some guys in my neighborhood that were, you know, effectively getting up. As a young kid, you want to make stuff, and you want friends and peers to see it. And I think graffiti in a city environment is a perfect outlet. You know, I'd go around and photograph, like when I'm shooting stuff in the Heights or the Bronx, and, you know, just make doubles, triples, and send them little packets to people, and they'd send packets back. And it sort of got me thinking about the world, you know, from my parents' house in Jersey City.
Who was the first like famous graffiti writer that you encountered?
I think in Jersey City there was a guy called What For, and he was up everywhere. And there was him, there was this guy Deuce, another young, I mean, a little older than me, but they were the kind of kids that were the same kids that when I started going to clubs were out and around. And
What clubs were you going to?
MK, Powerhouse, when Disco 2000 started, Michael Alley, before that, Quick, Downtown. I was hungry for it, you know, I just grew up sort of interested in people, interested in being out of my house, out of my neighborhood. It drew me out of, you know, out of my shell.
Did you come up with the tag Cause? Like, was it the first name you ran with as a writer?
No, it was probably the second, yeah.
What was your original?
That's my business, no. Yeah, as I started to paint more, and I was, you know, it got to a point where I was like, all right, this is something I think I'm gonna do for a while. I just wanted to think of letters that sort of interacted with each other in a good way, and purely a visual thing, how KWS connects, and I like the fact that it didn't exist. It didn't have, like, it wasn't a thing, and just sort of lettering that works, and I like the sound. It was like a short, strong mark. Else in your ear directing you. Like, once you start trying to please people, I feel like you're just grasping at nothing.
To contextualize it, you saw in that video that Cause was very curious and enthusiastic about the art world and what he could do in the art world, right? So that's the personality of his brand. And then he had this need to have a universal connection or approach to art. That's why he used that icon with the skull, because everyone, everywhere in the world could understand what that was, you know, and he tied that into everything that he did. He continued to build on that skull icon and incorporated it into all the cartoon characters that he appropriated from popular things like Disney works. The big sculpture that he built, I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was Mickey Mouse, just with a skull icon replacing his face. And another thing is, sorry. And then the second part I'd like to talk about is the brand story. So with the brand story, it always starts with an origin. How did this come about? Why do I want to be an artist? Why do I want to create what I want to create? Why do I want to share it with people? With Cause, he said he started in elementary school, right? He started tagging in elementary school. And then he went on to ask this question, how he could contribute to the art world, or how he could support the art world by studying something. And he went on to study animation in school, even though he knew that's not where he wanted it to stop. He just wanted to do something where he paints and uses colors. And then it translated to where he is now. Hi.
Thanks for that. It was very inspiring. I'd like to ask, as an upcoming artist, all these points are very relevant, but which one would you say sticks out the most? Like the first pointer that an upcoming artist would probably work on, and then delve into the other ones?
the sequence of the points I touched on was exactly it.
Okay.
You need to know
From the
brand attributes,
personality.
your brand attributes, which is
Okay.
personality and tone,
Oh, okay.
because that speaks to your identity in the end of it all. Like everything he believed in made him a modern and global artist because he had that identity
Okay.
from the start.
Okay.
Then you built from that.
Okay, cool.
I want to ask when it comes to funding, because artists normally cannot produce their craft. So would you say funding is a way for you to get your craft available to people? Or should you create your own kind of circle with people who do framing, who do printing, who sell art? Yeah, that's my question.
So the second bit, you answered yourself. He collaborated with his friends before anything, right? So building a network, collaborating with like-minded people, increasing your footprint without the financial investment helps you get to spaces where another person wouldn't get or where you wouldn't get waiting on that funding. And what you need to understand is that investors won't invest in something that does not show any value. So my advice would be to use the little that you have to push forward, whether that's your connections, the little 100 rand that you have, go buy canvas, go do what. Come stand on the street, disrupt, guys. There's so many avenues that you can explore or exploit without the funding. Like you saw him, he was bombing phone booths, you know? Didn't have investors at that point. I think investors came at a later point, but he used what he had, which was his talent, and access to the little supplies that he had to be seen or to be heard. Does that make sense? Did I answer your question? Cool. Any more questions?
I wanted to ask, like, if you are a conceptual artist, and how do you break into the market of galleries or auctions or, yeah, stuff, basically stuff like that. How do you break into the market? Because I noticed that most auctions or most galleries, they don't take like maybe a student or someone growing. They want someone that is actually noticed. How do you break into that kind of market?
Well, I know a lot of galleries have exhibitions. Start attending those events and networking because you'll meet people in the right spaces, whether they're agents, whether they're artists themselves, then they can give you those little nuggets that will push you forward, right? Even if there aren't events, why can't you visit a gallery and go ask to speak to the right people and ask them for the way to do things in their space? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, what do I need to do in order to be able to exhibit here? You know?
Yeah, but if you have gone through that process, there are like different factors that can still tend to be tough.
Have you
sometimes.
done it?
Yeah, I've tried. No, but because some of them require like an ID or so. Some foreigners, I'm a foreigner, so I don't have certain chances to break into that market.
Maybe try, instead of representing yourself, try and connect to an agent, right, who will speak on your behalf. I think that would be a nice strategy for you. Then they can find the opportunities for you in those galleries. But like I said, attend events, be seen, be top of mind, find someone who can speak on your behalf.
Okay.
But as we hear, creatives, our hustles, like we are in different platforms or levels, I may say. Some are well established, some aren't. So since we have been absorbed into this opportunity, so my question is, will you guys help us from where we are lacking in terms of some of us are more creative than entrepreneurial. So when it comes to ideas, we are number one. But when it comes to translating that
Into your business structure.
we are totally, it's a failure to some of us. So what would you guys do for us since we are here? We would like to be more entrepreneurial, more than creative, but we are totally lacking there.
Hi, Larato.
Hello.
Can they hear me? Oh, okay. So once you've established your brand story, how do you then make sure that when you go out there, you don't compromise on that brand story in order to fit the market? Once you've figured out what you are about and what your beliefs are.
Well, I think that is all up to you. If you understand who you are, the picture's much clearer. Then you know what to stay away from. Do you get what I'm saying? Practical example, I won't, if I'm a non-drinker, if I go out with my friends, I'm not gonna start now drinking because they're drinking. I'm gonna stick to my guns. So when you believe in something, see it all the way through. I think it's just about knowing what that is, sticking to it, and only aligning or collaborating with people who understand your vision. Do you get what I'm saying? Hey.
So I have a question. Based on the fact that we are here today, personally, I wouldn't have known about what brand strategy is all about as an artist, because I believe that, well, with me, I've always struggled to be out there, so that people must know who I'm all about. And I've realized it's not because I'm not good at what I'm doing, it's just because I might not know of other things. So would you recommend, with everything that you've told us today, is it important for you to either self-educate yourself to know about this? Because most of us, we don't know about it. We've only found that out today. That for you to be out there, you need to know who you are as an artist, firstly. So would you recommend probably for us to go to school? Is there books that you can buy to self-educate yourself in that regard? Probably.
Yes, you always need to wonder. You need to wonder and search for information that will better you as an artist. There's so many platforms, like you're holding your phone right now, it has data, right?
Of course.
There's so many learning opportunities on YouTube. Like this is a YouTube video that I downloaded and it has so much information and insights that you can build on. So you do need to search for information, be curious, adapt and learn. Yeah, let's social media. I've seen a lot happening on there. Like artists are using that platform to have a presence. I saw phones in your hands, meaning you're connected online. The information is there. Use what you have to learn, gain more knowledge, interact with people in the spaces. They are approachable, online or offline. Just be curious and learn and strive to be better or the best at what you do. It's there. Like, the only barrier to your growth is you. Like, that's it. You're your own barrier. Any more questions?
Hey.
Hi.
In terms of the visual culture industry, especially in South Africa, yes, I feel like we do understand the fact that, yeah, we have to persevere, keep on at it, and believe. But according to you, what would you say, for lack of a better word, gives you that extra edge? Like, or maybe let me ask this question: how flexible would you say the industry, especially in South Africa, is flexible around the issue of absorbing or taking in upcoming artists or new talent? Thank you.
I think it is pretty flexible. I see like platforms popping up a lot, meaning there is a space or there are more spaces for art to be consumed. And the way in which you can be heard is by sticking to you, what makes you unique, which is, I want you to say it well to me, which is, what makes you you? What makes you you, or what makes you different?
I don't know. I think the fact that I'm going to stick around and fight for what I believe in or what I want in, I feel like that's what I would say makes me different. Yeah.
So carry on with that, and whichever art form brings that about or has the loudest voice, choose that. Go into the spaces where you'll be heard. Start with social media, it's okay. And you'll build with that consistency. You said you're never gonna let up, right?
Yeah.
So don't let up.
Most def. All right.
You'll be heard. Like a lot of a lot of failure, which is good by the way, because you grow from it, comes from people not having enough patience with themselves. They always find excuses not to do things because it's easier to just be like, "Aye, art industry in South Africa is closed. It's not open to emerging artists or upcoming talent." But like, facts are, there are new pop-ups, there are new spaces which say, we're enthusiastic about new artists and emerging talent. Do you get what I'm saying? So, don't let up and be patient. Show up and deliver. I think those are the two words I need to stress. And be consistent. Any more questions?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I'm not a fine artist. I'm just a comedian. Okay, not just. But yeah, but I wanted to ask, like, in terms of goodwill or with a communication.
Yeah.
So a lot of like artists want to pitch an idea to somebody like who's known or who has like channels to help them. So I wanted to know, like, how do you protect an idea when you pitch it to someone? Like, for instance, if I come to you and I know that, okay, and you can do a certain thing for me, and I come and pitch you an idea, how do I protect myself from not seeing that idea happening without me being part of it or me owning it?
I think you can draft contracts. Like, they don't have to be hectic contracts, just contracts that stipulate the nature of the relationship, what you're going to do, what the idea is, and that it belongs to you. I think that's where you can start, because trademarking stuff is a hectic process. But I think if you draft the contract at the inception of that deal, then you will have protected yourself in some way.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
Hello, I have two questions.
Cool.
So the first question is about, I mean, I get the whole branding and branding strategy, telling your story and that sort of thing. But like a fellow artist like myself, we get sick and tired of doing the same thing all the time. For instance, I've studied Keith Haring, Cause, and Basquiat, and they all have done the same thing, have, you know, that style, and everybody knows, oh, that's Basquiat, that's Garabo. We all know that, but as time goes, you get sick and tired of doing the same thing, and you want to be versatile, but in the art world, it's really difficult to, you know, make it as a versatile artist. So
Cause is making it. He's versatile. Yes, his base or foundation is cartoon characters, but he keeps switching it up. He's not just doing murals or whatever. He's adapting that style to clothes, to shoes, to commercial work. It's not the same thing. That's versatility.
in a sense, okay. And the second question I have is, I notice a lot of these artists who do great work with brands like VW, KFC, and that sort of thing, have managers or somebody who's going to be the middleman. And for an artist like myself, I don't have that. I mean, I have an okay-ish following, but I want to do great work as well. I want to get paid I want to get paid to do cool stuff like that. So how do I get that kind of work without having a manager or somebody in between?
Go learn the principles of management. I think if you want to cut out the middleman, then learn what that takes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Fiso. I want to ask you, how does like, because we started like sound engineering.
Yes?
And I started sound engineering and music production.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's hard because like even if you started music, you can go to like people such as like people that's well known and ask for an in-service training because colleges it does give you N4, N5, and 6. Then you have to do like in-service training of 18 months to do to get your diploma, but like can go anywhere, but nothing like. Yeah, because I even registered a company and do music like a lot and do videos for like kids and trying to like explore in the industry, everything. Like I've tried even radios because I'm from KZN. I started like in KZN and I finished. Then I came here to Joburg like to hustle. Then I want to must like start again because I'm starting a CJC, man. Starting again because like I wanted to be like in where I can find people who can help, but I even see that it's the same. It's the same. Like everywhere you go, like.
What's everywhere? Sorry, I'll answer your question. What's everywhere? You said
Everywhere.
Radio. And
Radio. I've tried the radio. I've tried TV. Now I've tried like, cause like you can like I trust my quality. Like radio quality, cause like Kakas FM Zoom, like he played some songs, but you know radio like they will play like maybe once to kick you out, like okay we'll play this today, but next day no. Even for my FM, so
I'm gonna.
What I want to know exactly is like. Where should I go to get that in-service training? Because that's what I want for now, like to get my diploma. Yeah.
I think what you need to do is connect with people who have the access, because sometimes you're going as someone who doesn't have the connections to the people who control those platforms. So it's cool that you're here. I'm going to challenge Osmic to help you out with that. Oz, I challenged you to help this gentleman over here get in-service training for his sound engineering degree or qualification. He's up for it. Done. Yes, you can come. Oh, let me show there. Where? Oh.
Cool. So, hi, I'm Tabang. So I work with NoCC here and Slim, the guy that was here earlier. So, if I understand correctly, your question is how do you break into the market in the sound engineering department, right? In music production, and let's just say sound. Cool. So I don't really know much about branding, right? But obviously branding is what people say or feel about you on and off where you are, right? So you have to decide what is it that you want to do and focus on, number one. Because if you try to jump from broadcasting to live to studio, those are all different principles, right? That you have to apply different like mindsets to. So for instance, I record and mix. That's all I do. So I don't master, I don't broadcast, yes, I do every now and then dip my toes into those principles, but if you figure out what is it that you want to focus on, you can always grow and like expand your expertise, right? So, but stick to one thing first. That will give you access to other people. For instance, I didn't know how broadcasting works up until I had to send mixes to radio. Then you get that stuff back to say, hey, these are too hot, or you are mixing too low, or your frequency balance is off. So basically, if you can start where you are with the people that you have, the access of the people that you have, that will help you build your brand into getting into the spaces that you ultimately want to be in, and it also give you access to the people that you want. But it's all based off of the work, because going to school, getting a degree and everything, that's all good and well, but if you don't do the work, if you don't do the grind, then how are people going to feel about you, the brand, and what you are about? You know, so if that answers your question, then like, that's just that. But
Like the other guy asked, we'll see, what do you do if like, because like I have, my passion is to mix and master. Oh, my passion is to mix and master the songs.
Sure.
Yeah, because I like live recording. Yeah.
Cool.
So there are some like guys, like popular guys. I mix the songs,
Sure.
and then they go like they don't know me like at all. We do work for those people, but they cut us out. Like I won't mention names, but
Sure.
there are some people like I have even proof like Abani, like even
Sure.
proof videos doing those songs, composing for them.
yeah, but that's like then like personal experiences and whatnot, and I'm not discrediting what you went through, but I'm simply saying the more you do the work, you have to do the work. You know, like we always, trust me, there's other spaces that I'm trying to get into as well, but I can't sit and cry. I have to do the work. Eventually they'll get me into that space. So yes, you also do mixing and mastering, right? So but where you currently are right now, how are people feeling about your work? Honestly speaking, always be objective about what you do, because as I said, how do people feel about you or your brand on and off work?
As I'm saying, they're using my work, but not with my name, as the guy asked.
Sure.
Because you can go to some people and pitch your work, then they take the idea, not you.
Can I just
Sure.
interject, guys? I think I answered your question earlier. I hear his points, which are very valid because he's in that space. But like I said, what you're lacking right now is not that you're not doing the work, is the access and the trust in relationships. That's why I'm like, use someone who's already got that access and the relationships to give you a voice. Hence, I challenged Osmic to stand up and do that because he's got those opportunities and he's cool with it. See how that goes and build on it. Yeah. Fortunately, the entertainment industry is very fickle. And the more there's trust or loyalty, the further you'll go. It's all about connections and building relationships. And there's no shame in tapping into somebody else's network to grow. That's all it is. Was there another question? Finally.
Everyone.
Hello.
So I think my concern is, I think it's something that like all artists, if not most, battle with, is separating. Actually, I'm asking, is there a need to separate yourself from your work? So the brand as like separate from as Itu, or it's as important, the brand as a Itu is also as important as my art.
So let me start here.
Okay.
When people stand there, when people buy a product, are they buying the product because it's the product, or are they buying the product because they can resonate with it? It makes them feel a certain way. Why do you buy a product? Let me start with you. Why do you buy a product? Is it because the product is a product in J, or do you buy a product because you can relate to it? It makes you feel a certain way. It makes you think a certain way. It gives you nostalgia. It gives you the cool factor. Like, why do you buy a product?
Yeah, I think there's different kind of products. So if Kireka camera, so maybe camera I'm buying it based on my budget, You know, maybe I want that big one, but for now I'm buying this one because of.
Mm.
But I get what you're saying, so
Would you buy, let's talk about that camera.
yeah.
Would you buy a Canon, Nikon, Sony, and why?
Um, depending on the need, but
O batla camera e feng?
for now ke batla red.
Okay. Why?
Because there's a certain quality I need to
That's a
achieve.
brand value?
That's
Okay.
a brand value. And also
Mhm.
the clients, if you read, it's like, oh, shit, he has one.
Respect.
So, respect. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think, yes. But
So-
I get you. So
To-
it's like, it's really important to resonate with someone.
Mm. So I'll use,
Yeah.
to answer your question, you said, do you need to remove yourself from a product in order for it to work? That's not always the case. Like you saw there, I said there's an origin, like a brand story, and it starts with you having a passion or this insistent need to change a world that you want to operate in. So if you can make that translate into everything that you do, it doesn't have to directly emulate who you are, but the things that you believe in, sort of like plant them in everything that you do, and in essence, people can be able to say, and like that man gets me. And that will be the reason as to why they invest in something that you have, whether it be emotionally, financially, mentally. Do you get what I'm saying? That's how you pique interest. By investing a bit of yourself, even if it's not the whole you, but the principles that you believe in. O tla ba sharp.
Sure. So do people want to see you too, or they fine with your work?
I think you can explore the artists that don't show themselves and create that mystery around their brands. Like a local one, give a guy or owner Dead.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how
Benji.
Dead looks,
Yeah.
except for his close friends.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? But his product is in demand.
Yeah.
So if you can use that mystery to spark interest or curiosity around your brand, then I think it can work. And in other cases, the brands sell or the products sell because they see the person and can relate with them or develop that connection. So it's twofold.
Yeah.
Do what works for you. What are you more comfortable with, I think, is what will keep you going on your journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Sharp,
much.
sharp. Any more questions? Is it a wrap?
Guys, the reason you have a book in front of you, right? Just out of interest, how many of you guys know how to use a mind map? Just out of interest. Okay, so about 4. Okay? Now be honest, don't, like, I'm here to assist, so don't lie. How many of you guys, right, have a book that assists you in planning either your day-to-day or your life in general, and you use it? About 6, okay? Okay, about 6. So the 6 that raised their hand, can you just raise your hands again? Okay, cool. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it's 7, 8, 9, 9. So it's 9 people that have got a book that they use for their day-to-day, right? Okay, can you guys show me that book? Don't show me the ones I just gave you. Can you show me that book? Okay, he's got his book. She's got her book. Yours is at your house, so you don't count. She got her book. A piece of paper. No. You add it to the book. No. So, I've given you guys these books, man, purely from the reason that it's something that has helped me. I think you can step up and just set up while I'm blabbing. I gave you guys these books to show you some of the tricks of the trade that have been able to sort of assist me in the years of all these other madness things that I do, right? And it's a book. Like, I'm busy working there. You can see I've got my own book. I've got a book open there, and if you can see that book, it literally has, and I literally timestamped my book. So from the 1st of January, if you look in my book, there's a, sorry, Damien, just pass me my book there. From the 1st of January, it's got, let's let Damien give me my book. So this is my book. It's called The Book, right? So I have these books since the last, so I've been in business since I was in standard 7. I don't know what standard 7 is. What's standard? Grade 9, since I was in grade 9. So I've got these books since I was in grade 9. So that's probably like 100 of these sort of books. And the beauty also about these books is that, and you can see on my first page, it's got my name, it's got my email, and it's got a reward. So if I lose this book, the reward is $1,000, all right? Because literally this is what guides me, right? It's my book. And look at how that's, so this was on the 1st of January, right? And this literally has personal goals. This has all the things that I need to do for the year. It's got business. It's got the projects I'm working on for the year. So the reason I do this, it's got, for instance, Back to the City 2021 plans. It's got literally, so when you go to Back to the City and you see Back to the City happening, what you're seeing came from this, literally. So it has things like, how much do I need? How many people are we targeting? If I need 10 million rand to do this thing, where do I get 10 million rand from? I'll write the different brands. I'll say, I'm going to go to Adidas, I'm going to go to some government department, I'm going to go to Knickknacks, and then, but what are the chances? How much could they really give me? Maybe they can give me this much, cool. Then from there, I start going in and say, okay, but what's Knickknacks doing for the year, right? Why would they align to me when I go with my proposal? So it's got literally all these things and they dated. What this also helps me with is I can go to any book from 6 years ago and I can measure my goals. So I was showing someone a few weeks back, we're busy building the South African Hip Hop Museum. And I showed someone the South African Hip Hop Museum 2 years, which is 5 years ago, when I drew it down, right? The mind map, and I said, we can have a museum this way, we will put it in Newtown, and then we'll get a space at Museum Africa, it will maybe cost this much, and then we'll do this and we'll do that. 5 years later, I go back, true to form, right? I've subconsciously, all these things that have happened were actually planned into this, but we're gonna get more into that conversation when I speak. So we've got my man Kamo, so he's gonna talk you guys a little bit. So Kamo does social media for some of our projects. So he's like the weapon, right? So I'll give you an example. So I will say to him, on Friday, we need to trend #1 for the whole day. And in 45 minutes, he'll make us trend. So if we wanted to trend right now, in the next hour, we can make ourselves trend, right? Why is trending important? because all these people that you target perceive trend as a tangible thing. That's what these brands, because remember, the reason you're trying to trend, especially in the position that you're doing, it piques interest, right? It does not necessarily mean you're going to get sold out, you know, but it means there's someone looking, and these are the stats that you put into your documents when you go out into the hustle. So he's going to just talk a little bit about, I think, the importance of it and why it's necessary and all of those, because we live in that world, right? Where I'm sure, is there anyone here without a social media account? Is there anyone here that's ever trended #1?
And as Oz said, my name is Kamoelo Moeti, and I live on social media. An introduction of myself is on the screen right now. So I'm a social media influencer, social media manager, and a vlogger with 40,000 plus followers across my social media platforms. I started social media as a hobby back in 2013, and fast forward to 7 years later now, we're doing all this. We've got all these certificates. I'm certified by Google, as you can see. I'm certified by Facebook, certified by Twitter, and certified by Google Ads Display. So that's me in a nutshell, and some of the work that I do includes, I've been a VJ on VOOV TV. I do social media for Back to the City Festival. I do social media for the South African Hip Hop Awards. And more recently, I did social media for Big Brother Naija Season 5. That's me in a nutshell. And what is social media? It's quite easy. It's very quite easy. Social media is what you do when you wake up. I mean, I know this for myself, that before I even open my eyes, I'm on social media already. And I'm sure everyone in here can relate to that. The first thing you do when you wake up is you look at your phone. Now imagine as an artist, as a creative, there's possibilities and the market that's out there for you. Because everyone, when they wake up, first thing they do, they're on their phones, and for the rest of the day, they'll be on their phones. Quick one, just as an icebreaker before we go to a video. I've got this guy. I'm sure all of us know this guy, and I've got a question in relation to him. That is Rasta, just in case you can't see, Rasta the artist. So the question now is he a good artist or is he a good user of social media? Okay, so I'm sure that we can all agree that he's a good user of social media. You guys are critics. Rasta is an amazing artist. He is. You agree, bro? Oh, so he ticks both the boxes. Exactly. So I'm sure after this session, we should be all able to tick all the boxes and to do what Rasta has been doing, or to even do it better, because we are better artists, as you guys say, than my friend Rasta here. Okay, so now let's go to this video which I've prepared for you guys, and you guys will be exposed, in case you don't know Karabo Poppy, you guys will be exposed to Karabo Poppy and her life and how she used social media to be where she is right now.
So, you're in vereniging, né? At what point in vereniging do you go, yeah, I want to be an illustrator?
I will be honest, it didn't happen any time when I was living in vereniging. So anyone that knows about vereniging knows it's not like a cultural hub for creativity and really people doing unconventional. It was basically a mining town, so it's pretty much known for that side of any kind of industry. So yeah, I left vereniging at 13. I went to Potchefstroom High School for girls, and then also was in a cultural hub.
I was about to say.
Yes. Wow. So the formula was a little bit unconventional, but after hearing that statistic, I was just out to change that.
Scary. Now, I mean, you've already gone and done some major things. What would you love to work on? It's a difficult question.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult question.
I think just being creative, I do see myself as like an all-round creative. I think I would be able to kind of take something I'm not necessarily trained in, but just follow the simple thought process of creating and try and bring that into my aesthetic.
Yeah.
What I would love to do is get into fashion. I would love to get into sneaker design, actually.
Yeah, you're big on sneakers.
I love sneakers. I love sneakers. I like the ingenuity, the science behind it, the art behind it, and that's having the analytical and creative side meet. So I would love to get into sneaker design. I would love to collaborate with Laulos and Banjo as well.
Yeah,
He does
yeah.
like really traditional, like linked to his heritage, that kind of art as well, but he's brought it into something contemporary. Virgil Abloh, of course, everyone on the planet would love to.
I feel like it's coming though. I'm not even going to be surprised.
It's coming,
when it
it's
happens.
coming. He'll send me an email soon.
Yeah. I'm not even going to be surprised because you and Chantel Martin, you're already
We're already here,
Yeah.
yeah. So Bill Gates and I were here at a point as well.
Is this for
Just
real?
on the side. Yeah, he tweeted me about 2 years ago. Tweeted
What?
a bunch of my illustrations and said he is, I'm going to paraphrase because I can't remember the tweet exactly, but he is flown by the kind of creativity and innovation coming out of Africa. And there were a bunch of my illustrations.
That's...
Yeah. So, yeah, Virgil, we're waiting for you.
Okay, that's Karabo Popi. If you didn't know her, now you know her. You've probably seen some of her work across Johannesburg, and I think after this session, we should all go back to the exhibition site and double and triple those prices. So yeah, back to the presentation. As we were going, we were right here. Now we're starting with how to run your social media pages. It's quite simple. I mean, we've got to use social media for more than just pictures. I mean, Karabo mentioned that she talks to some people are DMing her, like the likes of Bill Gates are talking to her. So let's use it for more than just pictures. Let's inbox people, let's reach out, let's try to collaborate. She uses this term a lot, collaborate. We should all collaborate. We should all speak to each other in here and find out, how can I help you? How can I help you? What do you do? What do I do? Let's all collaborate as creatives because we are all we've got. Secondly, focus on engagement, not your follower count. This is because there are things what we call robots on social media, and you'd see someone with 1 million followers, but when they post a picture, they get 20 likes. It doesn't make sense, and you'd find that most of the followers are robots, and we don't need robots in our lives. We need real people that are going to be real fans of our work and then ultimately purchase our work, because that's what we're trying to sell. We're trying to sell ourselves and our brands, right? Consider the details of your posts. What this means basically is things like your hashtags, things like your captions. Don't bombard people and spam people. Use proper clean hashtags, 3 at the max. If you want to add more hashtags so that people can follow them, you can have, I don't know, 10 hashtags, but comment on the picture with the hashtags, not on the actual caption. So it kind of works if you are a hashtag person. So just add hashtags under the post. You are commenting on your own post with the hashtags, other than putting it on your clean caption and now making it dirty and busy. And then we get lost. I was inspired after leaving AMP Studios to do this portrait. So this is what I did after leaving the studios, because I saw the green colors on the wall, etc., etc. Hashtags, hashtags, hashtags. That's all you can do. 3 at the max. If you want to add more, add them in the comments. And then self-explanatory, quality over quantity. Now, how do we increase our followers? I would also just like to put it out there that I'd really like for this to be engage. Let us engage on this. So if you're trying to stop me, please don't be afraid to stop me. Ask a question. If you're trying to add something, please don't be afraid to add something. Let's make it as engaging as possible, because at the end of the day, we're talking about social media, and social media is all about engagement. So it would be really dope if we can engage and keep it going that way. So how to increase followers? First and foremost, you've got to create attractive content. When on any social media platform, the first thing that you see, stories are right on top. So it's easier to get the attention of someone, because before you can even scroll down to see Kamu's post down there, stories are already there. Secondly, stories they let you be creative. They let you play around with colors, they let you play around with moving words, they let you play around with a whole lot of things. So the features are very advanced, and then it's very easy to capture the attention of someone using all those colors and moving objects and moving things. So stories are the future. Stories are the now. Yes, ma'am. I think I should be scared of this question.
No, you don't have to be scared of the question, but just in relation to the stories and the posts.
Yes, ma'am.
So it seems like somebody said that if you post something, it has more impact on your analytics than if you put up a story. So somebody said it was encouraging me to rather put up a post as opposed to a story, because I tend to not post anything because I like the fact that the stories end. And so if you didn't catch it, you missed it, and that's that. But someone said that's not good.
Yes, it's not, because with stories, we can only track for that 24-hour period. After that 24-hour period, as you've said, it's gone. And then with something that you have posted, you can track it back 24 years later. You can still go back to see, oh, I once posted this 24 years ago, and I looked like this, and these are the likes that it got, while on the other hand, the story is gone, but they do go on archives. They are not completely gone. There's a feature called archives where you can see all your story archives on the other side. But let's try to use stories more, because people are really, really wanting to see what, yes, Lim?
I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
So I've noticed that a lot of guys with a huge following will limit their posts. So you'd go onto their feed and you'd see like maybe 5 posts max.
Yeah.
Right, and they refresh that like maybe every 3 months. So I wanted to know, is there like a particular strategy around that where you don't necessarily have like
a lot of posts. This is
and
now
you're
on
limited?
Instagram.
Is there a reason for that or not?
No, there's no particular reason for that. The reason why people do that is because of aesthetics. You know, Instagram, sifela aesthetics. In terms of people will want all their pictures to look the same, have the same look and feel, have the same colors. So now if you go and then you see that, I don't like those old ones anymore, you'd find that they archive them, meaning you don't delete them, you just hide them from the public, and then you'll see them bringing them back maybe a month later because they want to be there. And then some people tend to remove everything and just have 0 posts, and then the following and the followers are high. There's no real strategy behind that, but people wanting to look cool. Because again, it's Instagram. Write engaging captions. I think that's very self-explanatory, and for this one, I would want to make an example. For example, I've just created this painting and then I posted it to my Facebook, and then on Facebook, instead of me saying, I am the best artist in South Africa, I can write that why I did this painting. First and foremost, I was inspired because I left Empt Studios and I saw the beautiful creative spot there with all these paintings and things on the wall, which are so cool. And then this is what we got at the end of the day. Do you think I can make the best artist in South Africa? That challenges you to comment, doesn't it? Instead of me being cocky and saying I'm the best artist in South Africa, I can ask you, do you think I'm the best artist in South Africa. People who want to comment, oh, I can be the best artist in South Africa. People who want to comment, yes, if you keep at it, you can be. You can be whatever you want. Yes, you are. People are commenting. Instead of now you are telling people that you are the best, people will just be like, yahlanya lo. Scroll right past you. And there, it's gone. Your engagement is gone. Your consumer is gone. Kancane kancane, your brand is going. All good? Sorry? Oh, you'll make sure your account is attractive. Also, I missed that one. Thank you. Well, what that means basically, that's your name, first and foremost, on social media. Your name is not that bad. Your ad. Let's make it a clean name, 1. 2, your profile picture. Let's keep that clean also. Let's make it clean. Let's put, if you can, put a picture of what you've created. If you want, put a picture of yourself, a portrait, maybe half-cut, and you keep it clean. Your name is there, everything is there. When you go into your account, there's not a lot of things that, you are not a sharist. We call them sharists now. Tologutu umuntu is not posting anything in 2 years. Umuntu kudala share nje. And mala share umuntu share nje, ama meme, nothing to the brand. You are trying to build a brand on social media, but there's nothing that talks about the brand on social media. It's just you sharing your stuff, not your stuff per se, but ama meme wako that you like and everything and anything that is out there besides what you do and what you want to sell. So your account needs to be attractive. It needs to want to keep the attention of someone and ultimately turn that person into a consumer. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Kam. How are you?
I'm good, big boss. How are you?
I'm great. I'd like to find out when's the right time to post? Because, recently I've been trying to maybe imagine that people are at work and maybe it's 12, it's lunchtime.
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking they're probably on their phones, but then I try posting at that time and you find good reactions are not what I expected. Do you post in the morning or do you post maybe around 5 when they just woken up and they're still in their phones, they haven't gotten out of their bed? When is the right time to post to get more engagements? Yeah.
Okay, a very good question, and that brings us to our next slide, which would have been the last one, which is post during peak time. So peak time, as you would have said, is between, well, first and foremost, when people have just woken up. Remember, we had said post 2 or 3 times a day. So now between all these times that I'm gonna give you, so it's between 6 and 7 in the morning. This is when people have just woken up. Another one, then people will start preparing for work and attempting to get to work, traffic, rush hour, everything. The next time is lunch, which is between 12 and 1. And then the other time is when people knock off and they are knocking off, and then just before you close work, you'll want to check social media while you're still at work, Wi-Fi and you want to finish it off just before you get out. So that's between 4 and 5. Well, you can also attempt to post between 8 and 9, which is when people are on social media talking about what's playing on TV. So those are the 4 times that people are highly active on. We call them peak times. I hope that answers your question, bro. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. All the social media platforms are different. Like for Twitter, for example, you've got a character limit into how many words you can write. And on Twitter, we don't want to read long things. We just want to see a short caption, funny picture. Fine, we are laughing, we are moving. On Instagram, we want to see quality. On Facebook, we might want to hear your long story about how your day was and how you went to M Studios and what you learned and what. So you cannot post the same thing like 3 times, You must alter and tweak it for Facebook, Alter tweak it for Twitter, Alter tweak it for Instagram. You cannot make it one, copy and paste, boom, boom, boom. I hope that answers the question. Respond to comments. Yes, ma'am. That's me responding to comments.
Hi.
Hi.
I wanted to ask for the always make sure that your content is attractive.
Yes, ma'am.
So obviously, as a creative, like you'll post maybe on like Instagram, right? How do you keep your mind off from focusing on the likes and concentrating on your content and keeping it consistent without getting lost in what the public says about your work?
Is that you being afraid of critics?
No. It's just that some people get lost in the likes instead of like focusing on what they're posting and why they're doing it. So, I mean, it happens to most people. Sometimes you find that people post something, and if
Yeah.
they don't get like the likes that they wanted or need, they
Now you
delete
delete
it.
it, you're quata.
No, not but like
Well, I mean, it comes, social media is a very, as much as we glorify it, it's a very dark space with different people with different personalities and which are there for different things. And for you to survive in that world, you need to have a thick skin, first and foremost. And you need to really know why you're really there. Because if you are going to be concerned about people are not liking my things and what, it won't work for you. What you should be focused on is, what am I doing wrong? How do I improve on this? Instead of just saying, I didn't like this, I'm deleting it. I mean, people, if they don't like your stuff, that means they don't like your stuff. Let's just improve our stuff, and then they'll like our stuff. Easy, right? So what Eli did here was that he told his story, correct? Because he told us he's Eli Wasuf, he's a Nigerian artist based in Nigeria, in Kaduna, and then he does hyperrealism. He told us his story, correct? And then he grew an audience. By growing an audience, we can look at the numbers down here on Eli's posts, and then we can see that those are crazy numbers. And obviously from there, people followed him, people wanted to see some of his stuff, people interacted with his tweets. You can see they liked, they retweeted. So that's an audience. He grew an audience. What else did Eli did? Eli learned about his competitors on social media, because there we can see that he tagged Herinzi Art. So Herinzi Art is his competitor that he probably saw on social media, and then he said, I want to become like him. So he learned about his competitors on social media. So that's another important fact about social media. And then he got to build relationships with, number 4 is build relationships with your target consumers. So here, his target consumer was Kevin Hart, and then as you can see on the picture on the right, Kevin Hart replied. So Kevin Hart was now the consumer. Kevin Hart replied and said, I see it and I want to purchase it. I also want to support you and your amazing talent by giving you a fee to do a pencil drawing of 3 of my celebrity friends that I can gift to. DM your info and let's get to work. Amazing story, right? Because now what he did was that he built relationships with his target consumers. His target consumer was only Kevin Hart. But at the end of the day, he ended up getting Kevin Hart and 3 of his celebrity friends. So now it's relationships with consumers, and those friends will tell other friends and tell other friends and tell other friends, and chiki, now you are painting the Soweto Tower, or you are painting Kevin Hart, and the amazing story that we see right here. Increase your brand awareness. That is reason number 5. And then it's back to the numbers again. Now we know about Eli. Social media helped him increase his brand awareness, because as you can see, the numbers right there are crazy. I wish I could see the analytics of this tweet to see how many people it reached, etc., etc., etc. But as you can see, those are the retweets, those are the likes. So he increased his brand awareness. And then lastly, he promoted his product, which is what he was selling at the end of the day. So That's an amazing story and a success story from Ellie. And the other success story as we started the session was Karabo Popi, who has done numerous things to mention. I mean, she's collaborated with Nike on the Air Force One. She has got her own custom Air Force Ones, which you can buy. She's done the Soweto Tower. She's done Zoo Lake. She's done, I don't know, everything and anything that's painting and being an artist and anything you can dream of. She's been on Netflix. She's done work for Google. She's done a lot. And ladies, I see, girl power. Don't think it's only guys that can do these things. It's girl power also. There's Karabo, a very good example of this. And then last but not least, our success story on artist social media success stories. We've got our very good friend that we started with, Urasta. And as we have debated and said, a fighter, as we have said that he's a good artist and he can also use social media. I'm sure now you'll look at Rasta and you'll see all these points and be like, oh, he did this, he did this, he did this. And it's literally all that we have learned for today on social media and all these amazing things. Are there any other questions before we wrap up? Because we have come to the end of our amazing and interactive session, and it's almost time for lunch, as our coordinator, Mr. Damien Mokhale, says. Okay, we'll have ours. So now we are breaking for lunch. Okay, we all got that right. So it's a 15-minute break, and then after this we'll have our speaker, which is Osmic, to close off the day. But thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate all your engagement and you guys lending me your attention for such a long time. And thank you so much to all our sponsors, AMP Studios, the Gauteng Department of Sports, Recreation, and Arts and Culture, and everyone involved in this project. Thank you so much.